The fragile peace in Gaza is on the brink of collapse, and the world is watching with bated breath. The U.S. State Department has issued a chilling warning. Hamas is allegedly planning an imminent attack on civilians in Gaza, a move that could shatter the hard-won ceasefire agreement. But here's where it gets even more complex. While the U.S. claims to have credible reports, the specifics remain shrouded in mystery, leaving many to wonder about the sources and evidence behind these allegations. In a statement released on Saturday, the State Department emphasized that such an attack would not only be a direct and grave violation of the ceasefire, but also jeopardize the significant progress made through painstaking mediation efforts. However, the lack of detailed information has raised questions about the nature and credibility of the reports. Is this a genuine threat, or could it be a strategic move to pressure Hamas? The ambiguity leaves room for speculation and debate. Currently, the first phase of the ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel is underway. All living hostages have been released, and the remains of the deceased are being returned to Israel, a process that continues to unfold. As part of the agreement, Israel has also freed 250 Palestinian prisoners and 1,718 detainees from Gaza, marking a significant step toward de-escalation. Yet the alleged threat from Hamas casts a shadow over these achievements. Washington has already notified other guarantors of the Gaza peace agreement, including Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, urging Hamas to uphold its commitments. The U.S. has made it clear that if Hamas proceeds with the attack, measures will be taken to protect Gaza's civilians and maintain the ceasefire's integrity. But what would these measures entail? Could they involve military intervention, or will diplomacy prevail? These questions remain unanswered, adding another layer of uncertainty. Hamas has yet to respond to the U.S. allegations, leaving the international community in suspense. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump has weighed in, issuing a stark warning to Hamas earlier this week. If Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza, which was not the deal, we will have no choice but to go in and kill them, Trump stated on Truth Social. He later clarified that he would not deploy U.S. troops to Gaza, but his words underscore the high stakes and volatile nature of the situation. Adding to the tension, BBC Verify recently authenticated graphic videos of a public execution carried out by Hamas gunmen in Gaza. The footage shows several masked men lining up 8 individuals, their arms tied behind their backs, before executing them in a crowded square. While some gunmen appeared to wear green headbands associated with Hamas, their identities could not be confirmed. Does this incident reflect a broader pattern of violence, or is it an isolated event? And how will it impact the ceasefire? These are critical questions that demand answers. On Saturday, Israel reported receiving 2 more bodies from Gaza, which Hamas claimed were hostages, though formal identification is still pending. So far, the remains of 10 out of 28 deceased hostages have been returned to Israel. Tragically, the same day saw the deadliest incident since the ceasefire began, as 11 members of a Palestinian family were killed by an Israeli tank shell, according to the Hamas-run Civil Defense Ministry. The Israeli military claimed its soldiers fired at a suspicious vehicle that crossed the yellow line, demarcating the area still occupied by Israeli forces in Gaza. But with no physical markers and unclear boundaries, was this a justified action or a tragic mistake? The BBC has requested coordinates from the IDF to shed light on the incident. The conflict traces back to the 7th October 2023 attack, when Hamas-led gunmen killed approximately 1,200 people in southern Israel and took 251 others hostage. Since then, Israeli attacks in Gaza have resulted in the deaths of at least 68,000 people, according to the Hamas-run Health Ministry, whose figures the UN considers reliable. In September, a UN Commission of Inquiry accused Israel of committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, a claim Israel vehemently denied as distorted and false. Is this a fair assessment, or is the reality more nuanced? The debate rages on, with no easy answers in sight. As the situation in Gaza hangs in the balance, one thing is clear. The path to lasting peace is fraught with challenges. Do you think the ceasefire can withstand these pressures? Or is another escalation inevitable? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's engage in a constructive dialogue about the future of this embattled region.